Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jace Mackey. Lloydminster residents will now have a new way to recognize or remember their family and friends at city green spaces. City Council approved a new bench dedication program this week. The program is similar to what exists in other cities across the country. City administration sees this new program as an opportunity for members of the community to recognize friends, family, or important dates while also enhancing city-owned green spaces.
People are very excited about it in the community. I think there's service groups that may want to recognize long-term members or long-serving members, things like that. And that's a terrific way for them to give back to the community as well as honor someone or somebody.
Individuals looking to have a bench dedicated will have to pay a fee that will cover the cost of installation, maintenance of the new bench and plaque. Dedicated funds are considered donations and donors will receive a tax receipt.
The benches will not be flimsy and cheap. They will be well built and lasting.
Dedications will last 10 years with the option to renew for an additional cost. Wednesday morning, students from College Park School put the pedal to the metal and biked their way to school. Our Jasmine King has more.
I think that it's really good how kids can just get active and just have fun.
Over the course of the school year, College Park School hosts a few Bike to School days. They encourage parents, teachers, and students to be active and ride their bike to school. And before the cold weather comes to the border city, they wanted to host another one.
I would say a quick count, a safe count would be about 200 bikes here right now. We are fortunate in that most of our students live within walking and or biking distance of the school, 85% of us, which is fantastic. And there are multiple paths to get to our school, so we should take advantage of those.
Local bike store Grind and Gears came to the school to help kids fix up their bikes, pump up their tires, and make sure they were ready to go. They also set up stations across the school to teach the students bike skills.
We have a brake testing station where kids can ride really quickly, stay between the lines, press their brakes, and try to stop on the line. We also have a figure 8 that tests our turning ability. We have some different obstacle courses where they need to avoid each other as well as stay within the lines and take the path.
The students believe these stations will help them improve and prepare them for other types of biking.
Most of these skills really help with mountain biking and just biking in general, and I think that's important because you never know when you need that, right?
College Park is hoping to host another Bike to School Day when the weather gets warmer. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
The Buffalo Trail Public School Division has up to 82% of their schools with positive COVID cases. Our Shelby Clark spoke with the superintendent for more.
I'm joined here today for Primetime Local News with Rayanne Holion, the superintendent with Buffalo Trail Public Schools, and we're speaking about Manville School that has started at-home learning for a couple of weeks now. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, why has this decision been made for students at Manville School?
Hi, Shelby. Thanks for having me. Well, the decision was made September 26th, a Saturday. I received the first call from the Manville principal, Kim, saying they had their first COVID case. And from that day, increasing numbers of COVID positive students and staff. By Tuesday of that week, we moved the grade 6s online. By Thursday, we moved the kindergarten students online. And then by Friday, we had over a dozen cases and we had to move everybody online then. So they have started at home and they will be at home for 2 weeks and they come back Friday, October 15th.
And when this decision was made for at-home learning, what was reaction like from families and staff at the school?
Well, I think by that time it was somewhat of a relief. We have to get the Alberta Education permission to move a whole school online. And by then we were seeing lots of families who were being safe and keeping their students at home because almost every classroom had a positive case of COVID by that time.
And it's now gotten up to 82% of the schools having positive cases. What protocols are in place right now?
Well, so we started our year, the grade 4 to 12 students have mandatory masks. If there's a positive case in our school, our kindergarten to grade 3 students are also wearing masks. So we have the majority of students in our school division who are wearing masks right now to schools. We have enhanced cleaning throughout the day. We have enhanced hygiene. We're physically distancing in the hallway and cohorting our students. So we're still following many of the guidelines that were put in place last year to ensure students and staff safety.
Would you say that this is the future plan for other schools in Buffalo Trail Public?
Yeah, so with the announcement on Wednesday, if there are 3 or more cases in one particular classroom, that classroom in K to 6 will be moved to at-home learning. So that could mean that quicker the decision is made for other classrooms to go at home learning. Right now, the government change, we need 10 students to have a positive test in order to move that school online. But I do foresee in the future that we will have more individual classes learning at home.
When the at-home learning period is finished, what is BTPS going to change to try and limit the chances of this happening again?
Well, right now we really rely on the good word from our parents, and they've been so supportive in telling us when someone has tested positive, and they're keeping their students home when sick. And I think this is just kind of that reminder again how important it is for our students to stay home when they're sick, to monitor symptoms and mitigate the risk of spread. So thank you to all of our parents who are doing that.
And after seeing how high the percentage has gotten with the schools and BTPS, is there something you'd like to say to all the staff and students and the families out there?
No, I think Manville School, the staff worked so hard to make sure everything was prepared to go to at-home learning. It is some work to ensure things are up and running and students have what they need at home. So thanks to the staff there. All of our schools are working hard to make sure we're minimizing the risk of spread of COVID. And we want to thank our parents in all of our schools because we can keep learning in school when we have very few cases. So just keeping your kids home when sick.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Rayanne.
Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving to you and to all the BTPS families out there.
Well, we had a break from some of the wildfire smoke in our area. With more on the weather forecast for today and into your long weekend, here's Shelby Clark.
Thanks so much, Jace. Yes, that smoke air quality has cleared up here in the border city, so hopefully everybody is getting out there enjoying that nice clean air right now that the forest fire smoke is past our area here. And we are sitting at 13 degrees here in the border city with a mix of some sun and cloud. It has been feeling a little bit chillier this morning, especially with some of that frost on the car, on your vehicle and everything, if you noticed, but it has warmed up a bit with more of that sun peeking behind those clouds later on in the day. Now switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan here, some are sitting at that 11 and 13 degree spot there, while St. Paul is at 10 degrees and Vermilion is at 12 degrees, as well as in Provost, and Wainwright is the warmest at 14 degrees. Over on this side here, Isla Cross is at 10 degrees, while most are sitting at that 11 degree mark as well. Green Lake is at 13 degrees, while Maidstone, Macklin, and North Battleford are all sitting at that 13 degree mark as well. And overnight tonight in North Battleford, they will be going down to a low of -2 tonight, so we are getting into those minus temperatures for our lows as we head into that fall season there. They will be seeing some clouds in sight, but tomorrow they will warm up to a high of 17 with a lot more sun, so it will be feeling a little bit warmer tomorrow. Now in Cold Lake, they will be seeing that -2 for their low as well tonight with a little bit of clouds in sight. And tomorrow they will be warming up to 15, but they will be seeing more of a mix of some sun and cloud. And here in the border city, we'll be going down to a low of 0 degrees, so we aren't seeing those minus temperatures just yet here in the border city, but we will be cooling down quite a bit to seeing some clouds in sight as well. But tomorrow we will be seeing a high of 15, and we will be seeing a little bit more sun here in the city as well tomorrow. And now switching over to our 3-day forecast here. Friday, as Jace was saying, starting off this nice long weekend on Friday, we will be seeing a lot more sun with a high of 15. And as we go on through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we'll be seeing a high of 15 on Saturday with a mix of some sun and cloud there, but a low of -3, so we are cooling down quite a bit for our lows. And Sunday we'll see just a little bit more cloud coverage, although with a high of 12. That's the first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Alberta's Senate election is set to take place next week, and our Tate Laycraft got a chance to talk with a Conservative candidate.
Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by Conservative Senate candidate Pam Davidson, who's gearing up for Alberta's upcoming Senate election on October 18th. Thanks so much for doing this, Pam.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
So just to open things up a little bit, I wanted to ask about your background and motivation in running for Senate. So where would you say that this journey all started for you, and what drew you to politics originally?
Yeah, to start out with, about 7 years ago when the NDP got in, I realized as a, um, a homeschool mom that I needed to start really getting involved in our local politics. So I actually ran for local politics for in the municipal election in 2015. Being very, very new to it, I didn't know how to run a campaign, what it all took. It was a very good experience, but I didn't end up winning, which was okay. I sat in council for a year and a half to really understand what it is that they do, what is their role, how do they come to the decisions that they come to. And I just really wanted to learn how I could be involved the best way I could be as a mom, as a wife, as a Albertan, and as a citizen. What does it mean to be involved in politics, and how do we make a difference representing people? And so I started out there, and then I gradually went into provincial politics, helped with the uniting of the two Conservative parties, and was very influential in helping engage people in my local community in local politics, and the importance of that, and the importance of having your voice being heard, and just be participating. And so then I went from that into federal politics, where I ran just this past fall for the National Council for the Conservative Party of Canada. Again, I'm a newbie. I was an outsider coming in, running for a position that, our party favorites are hard to beat, but I came in third, and I only came in 17 votes behind the incumbent, which was very good. And I think people recognize that I have a heart for politics, a heart for people, a heart for representing the people of Alberta authentically. And so when this position came up for Senate, the Conservative Party of Canada wanted to nominate 3 people to put on the ballot. And so I was asked by a couple of the MPs to think about putting my name forward. And so I took that a little bit of time, probably almost a month, to just decide whether or not this was a good fit for my family and for myself. And realized, yep, it is. My kids are all grown now. I have time in my schedule to commit to the people of Alberta should they elect me on October the 18th.
And as far as your platform's concerned, I've read that freedom of speech and property rights are pretty high on your list of priorities. Would you maybe just care to expand on those a little bit?
Yeah, property rights, I believe they're essential element to what has made Canada a great nation on earth. Because of this, I support the introduction of constitutional amended protected property rights for all Canadians. And I mean, to dive in a little bit more, I have my RPAL. I believe in the ability and the need for firearms in our country, and mostly in our province. I live on an agriculture farm, and so predators are very much an issue here. And being able to know how to run a firearm and use a firearm and take care of a firearm properly is super important. So that's definitely one of my bigger issues that I like.
Then, before we close, I just wanted to ask what you have planned for the remainder of your campaign, as the election is only 11 days away here.
Yeah, so my team actually developed one of the big things that will set myself apart from the others is my team developed a whole video step-by-step voting guide for Indigenous communities, and they are sending it out to all of them and helping them in the voting area. And I'm also continue to meet with as many municipalities as I can in the very short period of time I have left to campaign. Just getting my name out there, doing interviews like I am right now. Yeah, and then getting the people out to vote. I think that's the biggest challenge that I have, is getting the rural citizens to get out and know the importance of voting.
Welcome back. This week is Animal Health Week in the province of Saskatchewan. Jillian Code has more.
Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by Natasha Wilkie. She is a provincial cattle specialist with the government of Saskatchewan. Now, Natasha, this week is Animal Health Week in the province. Could you tell me why the government decided to honor this week?
It is Animal Health Week. And so Ag Minister Dave Merritt, he proclaims it every year from October 3rd to 9th. And so the big thing with this week is we just want to recognize the idea of like animal health and human health and the planet health or the environment, and how all three of those play into each other, I guess, you know. And also we want to recognize our producers and our vet experts and everyone else that goes into making sure that we are all healthy. All of our animals are healthy, we're healthy, and our environment's healthy.
And as you mentioned, this year's theme is animal health, human health, planet health is One Health. Why was that chosen for this year's theme?
It was chosen this year because we just want to highlight the roles and responsibilities that, you know, our vet professionals, like I said, and, the roles that they play, I guess, in food safety, you know, public health and environmental protection, you know, just really highlighting why those three pieces, like how they're so intertwined. You know, our animal health, if our animals are healthy, we're healthy because, you know, that improves our food safety. If we're healthy, we're able to take care of our animals better, you know, and then the environment just ties into it really nicely on either end as well.
And this year with the drought, you know, it took a little bit extra effort to care for animals, you know, whether you're the producer or the veterinarian. So is this week just, you know, an added appreciation for the work that these people do?
Absolutely. I mean, that's right. Like this year's drought conditions, you know, they've really highlighted the resiliency of our livestock industry. And they do it time after time again. I have no idea really how all of them do that, but they come through it. You know, they just face adversity head on. They've been faced with so many challenges this year and uncertainty for themselves, for their livelihoods. You know, this drought has been a big impact on them. And so, you know, trying to find water, trying to find that feed, trying to figure out how they're going to market their animals or what that's going to look like when it comes time to market their animals. You know, they've faced that head on and are shining.
And then Natasha, just one last question is, how is the cattle industry in Saskatchewan doing? You know, it's been a tough year with the drought this year. The previous year, there was a lot of backups with processing plants for beef. How is the industry doing?
You know, they've done really, really well, surprisingly, you know, really well. So, you know, luckily the cow prices, they did dip a little bit. Our cow prices dipped probably about a month ago. They made a bit of a dip, you know, when we were faced with, you know, in the face of the drought and not knowing really what was going to happen. And thankfully, those prices have started to come up. Also, thankfully, our calf prices have been holding fairly strong, which is pretty amazing given that grain prices are through the roof, really, the feed grain prices. And so they've been doing really well. But I mean, and that being said, you know, they also have lots of professionals that that help out too. Like I say, it takes a village to raise a kid is some of the sayings, but I feel it's the same way with cows. It takes a village to raise a herd of cattle or livestock. And so that's where veterinary professionals come in and play that critical role in supporting producers in the livestock industry. And so, you know, if they have any questions on animal health and welfare, which, you know, can be concerns during years that we have feed shortages and water shortages. So our veteran professionals are there to help out. That being said, you know, it is tough on producers and it can play on your mental well-being or your physical well-being. Both, they tie into each other as well. And so, you know, I guess, can I put in one little claim here to just encourage producers that if it is, like, it is tough. And so if you're feeling really, you know, you want some support, it's understandable. There's some tough decisions that have to be made this year. And so just know that, you know, there's places out there that that can help out. And so, you know, just please reach out.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is very important. Natasha, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
No worries. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, Jillian.
And now here are your agriculture prices for today. Welcome back. 2 is luck, 3 is a streak. The Lloydminster Bobcats know this after picking up their 3rd win in a row Wednesday night. Evan Kenny has more on the team's recent success.
The Lloydminster Bobcats offense was on full display Wednesday night as the team beat the Sherwood Park Crusaders 8-2.
Oh, for us, it's 3, and I think we got to keep going on that. It's been a while, I think, in the old Catland here for that, and we'll enjoy this one, and then we'll get back to it tomorrow and prepare for a mighty strong Fort McMurray team.
In his first game back against his former team, Tanner Finkart got the night started and would add another goal and assist.
Been scoring a lot in the past couple of games, and it's nice to score a lot again and kind of keep them down, so it's not as much of a run and gun game. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. So I think kind of getting those jitters out and getting the legs back under us, and now kind of settled in a few games and kind of get rolling now, I think.
This is something a number of players would agree with.
Yeah, obviously with last year not playing, I was off to a little bit of a slow start. Didn't play much to start with my ankle, and yeah, it's nice to get that one out of the way. I can really get moving forward now. I can look forward to the next game, live in the moment, and just keep going. I got some confidence now, and I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Leslie, Tegan Skihart, and captain Chad McLean all picked up their first goals of the season.
Yeah, this is definitely by far our team's best 60 full minutes. We took it 20 minutes at a time, won the first game, won the second game, won the third game, and the boys battled hard throughout all 60, and it's super nice to get the win like this.
Guys are playing with the confidence with the puck, and they're also finding ways to get pucks and bodies to the net. I think that's a big part of it.
The Bobcats will look to make it 4 in a row this weekend as they travel to Fort McMurray for a pair of games. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
And now here's Shelby Clark with another look at your weather forecast.
Thanks so much, Jason. Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we'll be starting off with taking a look at temperatures across central Alberta and Saskatchewan here. As you can see in Whitecourt, Edson, and Jasper, they are still at that single-digit mark, looking at 8 and 9 degrees. Rocky Mountain House and Athabasca are at 11 degrees, while Edmonton and Red Deer are the warmest, sitting at 13. Now over on this end here, Meadow Lake and Cold Lake are at 11 and 12 degrees, so they are just probably a couple degrees a little bit warmer on this side here, while North Battleford and Saskatoon are at 13, and Prince Albert and Melfort are looking at 14 degrees. And as we switch over to our northern region of the provinces, most are looking a little bit cooler at those low single-digit marks, while Uranium City and Stony Rapids are at 5 and 6 degrees there. Wollaston Lake is at 7 degrees, while South End and La Ronge are at 12, and Flin Flon is the warmest at 15, and the rest are at that 11-degree mark. Over at this end here, Grand Prairie and Peace River and High Level are at 7, 8, and 9 degrees, so a little bit cooler over on this end, as well as in Fort Chipewyan sitting at 8 degrees, and Fort McMurray and Slave Lake are at 10 and 11. And switching over to our southern region of the provinces, they are a couple degrees warmer, but they are still seeing of what we're seeing in the central region of the provinces as well. Lethbridge is at 15 degrees, while Medicine Hat and Coronation at 13, 12 in Calgary, and Banff is at that cooler point sitting at 6 degrees. Over at this end here, Kindersley and Swift Current are at 13 degrees, 14 in Moose Jaw and Regina, while Yorkton and Estevan are the warmest at 16, and Estevan's almost even reaching that 20-degree mark. But as we go back across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, as you can see, we are getting into those minus temperatures for our lows, while Meadow Lake will be seeing a low of -3, as well as in Wainwright tonight. Isla Crosse will be seeing a low of 2 degrees, so still a little bit warmer in Isla Crosse. Pearson will be seeing a low of -2, as well as in Bonnyville, Paradise Hill, and Unity, and Provost and Myrna will be seeing the coolest at -5 and -7 for their low tonight. But as you can see, they are seeing less clouds in sight, and it will be more clear skies for Unity and Myrna throughout the night. And as we head into temperatures tomorrow across the region, we will be seeing around the same as what we've been seeing today, mostly ranging from around 14 to 15 degrees there. North Battleford is going to be a little bit warmer, sitting at 17 tomorrow, while Lac La Biche and Edmonton will be a bit cooler at sitting at 13 for their temperature tomorrow. But we will be seeing hopefully a little bit more sun to be able to save that for starting off our long weekend. And now ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the border city. As I was saying on Friday, we will be seeing a little bit more sun there to start off the weekend. Saturday and Sunday throughout the middle there, we'll be seeing 15 on Saturday with a mix of some sun and cloud, but we will be seeing a low of -3 there as we head into the fall season. We are cooling down quite a bit. Sunday we'll be seeing a high of 12 there with a little bit more cloudier skies, but we will be seeing around a 25% chance of some precipitation. And Monday to end off that nice weekend, we'll be seeing starting off a bit cooler with a high of 9 degrees there. And as we go through next week, we'll be on the same track with a high of 7 on Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday seeing a high of 10. That is another look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Today, I'm joined by Arnie Barron from the Calendar Club in the Lloyd Mall. So this year we're marking your 20th anniversary in the Lloyd Mall. What does that mean to you?
Well, we started in a small kiosk 20 years ago in 2001, and we were as green as grass when we started it. We didn't know what we were getting into and didn't know that it was going to take us on this journey. What it means to me is I've had a chance to groom my kids in business and be able to get them into a bit of a retail business. We've had 6 kids that have worked in our business, and it's just been great because they've been able to earn some spending money, and I've been able to employ some people in the community and add to their Christmas because we're running as basically a seasonal store.
And so do you have any big plans for the anniversary this year and for your reopening?
Well, this year we're going to be integrating a Hickory Farm store within our store. So we're going to be the Hickory Farms operators. Calendar Club and Hickory Farms have come to an agreement to share spaces in some malls. And this is going to be not only in our mall, but there's quite a few malls that are going to be having Hickory Farms and Calendar Club. We're going to be doing some specials in November, around November the 18th. There's going to be that week from Thursday to Saturday. Sunday is going to be our Scratch and Win, which is a huge event for people to come in, and they can win prizes. Everybody ends up being a winner. So. And then we have a $200 shopping spree. We have big bears to give away, lots of calendars and puzzles and stuff like that.
And this year with the partnership with Hickory Farms, what will they now be offering in your stores?
Well, they sell gift boxes of cheeses, crackers, spreads. They've got their mints, which are very popular. They've got some sweets, some chocolates, some candies. They've got the beef salami, the turkey salami, things like that to buy. But a lot of them are gift packs that you can buy and either use yourself or give as a gift, or if you're invited over for an evening, you can take one of these beef and cheese packs with you to an outing that you're going to.
What would you say your feelings are towards the reopen and the anniversary?
Well, it's going to be a real challenge this year because the mall had a challenge with their big flood, and they're going to be, from what I've heard, they're going to be possibly opening the mall to the public in the common areas on the 18th of October. So that's the date that I've been given. Well, whether that's going to work out, they've put out some feelers to find out what the tenants feel about that. We're gonna be ready to go. We start building our store on the 15th, and then we're gonna open on the 28th.
And so how would you describe the last 20 years of being in business? Has it all been pretty steady, or has it had its ups and downs?
Well, we've had our good years and we've had our challenging years. A lot of years it was challenging to get staff because the oil field was so busy and everybody was so busy doing stuff. And this last little while, we pretty well kept our staff together. And now that this COVID has hit and we've had the challenges of that, some of our staff aren't been returning. My main guy from last year, he's off to college this year, so I won't be using him. And we're going to be having some new staff and some new faces, and just come in and chat with them. We're always there to help you find the good Christmas gifts, stocking stuffers, calendars, toys, games, puzzles. And again, we're integrating the Hickory Farm store right in our store.
Lauren Rodick-Eberly is back with us this week. We've talked to Lauren several times before about a number of exciting parenting-related topics. I'm going to call you a parenting expert, Lauren, if that's okay with you.
I appreciate that. I always give the disclaimer that I'm not an expert, but I'll take it.
Well, we're going to talk about something that happens to a lot of people and something that you and your family just went through, and that's moving and to a new city, matter of fact, moving with a toddler. Now, you guys have relocated to Seattle this year. Your husband is playing with the Kraken, which I'm sure must be exciting and a lot of stuff to organize just on its own. But now you've had to move across the country again with a toddler. So, Lauren, how do you even begin to approach something like this?
Yes, so this is actually the 4th house that our daughter has lived in 18 months. So she is probably the moving expert. I would say, honestly, I know I always give all these disclaimers, but I only have one kid to worry about, which has kind of made it a little bit easier. And she's at the age where we're really her home. So as long as she's with us, she feels safe and she adapts really quickly. But I say that kind of what you can do when you're moving with a toddler or other kids is bring something with them that feels like home to them. So if they have like a favorite toy or stuffy or a blanket or you, bring that with you, and then that will make it feel like their new space is home.
Now, there obviously is a period of adjustment for them, Lauren, no matter what, even if they are with you. So what are some of the things that once you're in a new city, you can do? Because, you know, the surroundings will be different. And I'm not sure how much toddlers will realize that. But how do you kind of get them to adjust to everything that's new and, you know, possibly new play schools and friends and that sort of thing?
Right. I tried to make it really exciting at the beginning by already having a huge list of things that we could do together and explore together. But I was also trying to only kind of make one big change at a time. So for example, she just started learning to use the toilet, and I didn't want to introduce that the first week we came here because it was already like a big change of her moving to a new home. And like you said, yeah, new surroundings, new people. So that's kind of what I tried to do, is just one thing at a time.
And what about new activities? Because obviously moving to a new city, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can find to explore, but how do you kind of break that down and decide what are some of the activities that you'd like to do in a new city? Or do you just basically look for what you did in the place you lived before and find a version of that in the city? Or how do you approach that?
Yeah, well, you know, we love being outside and adventuring and hiking. So a great thing with us is, since we work with Kids Who Explore, we found Kids Who Explore ambassadors that were in the Washington area, and we've been able to go hiking and exploring with them. So that's kind of been our first new adventure. I'd love to get Collins into swimming lessons here now, so that will be the next thing. And so again, as we were saying, I'm adding one new activity at a time.
Now, you talked a little bit about the Kids Who Explore group that we have discussed in the past. There's also the podcast. And one of the things that would help you connect with this is that you could find moms who are doing the same things as you. So is that one of the things that you can use the Kids Who Explore program to do, is to connect also, like you mentioned, with kids, but with moms, and then they can connect you to other groups and you know, just kind of spreads from there?
Absolutely. Yes, that is such a key thing, because it's so great to meet new people of all ages and everything when you move to a new place, but it's really nice to have someone, especially for your kids, that's kind of in their same category. So I've been able to meet up with someone from Kids Who Explore that's right around the same age as Collins, so she has a toddler to explore with.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that too, because it is something obviously you're passionate about. And heading into the fall now, what are some of the things that you can do, especially if you have kids that are toddler aged? You know, you got the leaves falling, and I would assume that you could probably maybe do some crafts with those things and just go out and even walking through the leaves would be an adventure. But what are some of the things that you would recommend for people who are looking to get out and do activities with their toddlers?
Yes, that's the beautiful thing about the changing of seasons is that there's so many new things you can do. So even just going on a walk that you've been before is going to look totally different with the changing leaves and the different temperatures. So that's a great thing to do, walking, hiking, making sure you check out what hikes are still open, because as you're heading towards winter, a lot of hikes will be closed or there'll be warnings about when's a good time to go. So watching for that. But yeah, also pumpkin patches, corn mazes, apple picking, depending in your area, those are all really good things to do in fall as well.
Well, Lauren, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. And if people are looking for information, I know that you keep up to date. You've got all kinds of information on the website and on your social media. What's the best way to track you down and if people have questions to get in touch with you?
Of course, thank you so much. Everything is Lauren Rodick Eberly. So laurenrodickeberly.com, and on Instagram and all other social media, it's usually Lauren Rodick Eberly.
All right, Lauren. Well, thank you so much, and we'll chat with you again next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for Primetime Local News, and our second hour continues next on CITL.